So there are quite a few questions coming in about the subconscious recently. I haven't really been directly responding to these, and that's because, quite honestly, I'm just too new at this still, and I don't know. I just started projecting my consciousness out into the non-physical subconscious territory, maybe a year and a half or so ago. It's only just become regular, maybe in the last 6 months, and I'm still discovering firsthand through my own experiences what the subconscious is. And I do like to stay within the realm of my own experiences, when I'm relaying these things. That way, at least they're more potent, because I'm actually experiencing them. And when I relay them to you, they may actually make some sense. Otherwise, I'm just sort of repeating hearsay, saying what I suspect, perhaps, and honestly, I don't care to go down that line. It actually hurts my head a bit to even try. And so, if it's okay, I'd like to just stay in the realm of my own experience and go slow with this. And by slow, I just mean at a pace at which, I'm actually grasping things to the point that I can relay them. What I can say about the subconscious is, to me, it does seem it is a wider, broader territory, a wider, broader environment than the conscious physical environment. And of course, the experiences there are non-physical in nature. And so I can do a lot more there that I can't do in the conscious physical territory. I feel that very soon I will be able to do things in that territory, because I will no longer be seeing it as physical. This is already happening, and if you watch the videos, you hear me say about what's happening along this line quite a lot. This morning, again, a morning full of projections, very fun. I've already sort of pseudo-titled the events from this morning, the playground. So let's talk about the subconscious playground. Super fun morning. Not altogether new for me, but what was new about it was that I was put through this sort of ongoing, lengthy obstacle course of situation after situation after situation. I say obstacle course because in the non-physical, once I become lucid, my lucidity can rise and it can fall. So it sort of fluctuates. And with that fluctuation, I, can run into difficulty when I flux low. So, when my lucidity is high, when I absolutely solidly know I'm in a non-physical environment, I can do anything and I can do it well. When my lucidity starts to fall, my abilities start to be hampered. And when my lucidity goes quite low, I'll run into situations where I begin to get stuck. And so, because I was not put through just one situation where I got stuck, but many, just endless situations, I call this the playground or the obstacle course. And again, super fun. When I came lucid here today, I didn't fully know exactly where I was, but I recognized it enough to know what, or at least the general idea of what I do when I come here. And I immediately just wanted to run super fast, just run at lightning speeds. And I was with my brother Roger, and Roger could go just super fast, and I couldn't go near as fast as what he could, so I sort of lost him at this point. And when I lost him, I went flying for a bit. At one point, I get stuck. I'm on this incline, and the incline has shifted itself to where it's pretty much straight up and down, and I'm holding on to this rope that just, the more I lose my lucidity, the thinner it gets until it seems like it's just a tiny little string, and I have to call in for help. Can't go any further. Now, over the last year or two of coming lucid, I've come to realize that I do have helpers here in this environment. My guide, my main guide, even other friends, physical friends who have come lucid in the non-physical, come around and can help me out. I have this one non-physical helper who lives in the non-physical and whose job it is to, get physical people like myself who are coming lucid in non-physical environments when we're getting stuck. It's their job to help unstick us. Hence they're called helpers. And this one, I love her. I call her Velma because she has red hair and big glasses and looks like the character Velma from Scooby-Doo. I don't know her real name. I've never asked. I've never been lucid enough to ask. She's usually just helping to bring me lucid. And so anyway, I call out for a helper, and the helper comes and is trying to, at first, get me unstuck just through sort of trying to talk me out of it, but I'm not having it. The lucidity was so low that I just kept trying to tell the person that, the incline was too much. I was feeling too much of my weight. Gravity had taken in and the string was just too small. I couldn't get enough grip on it to pull myself up out of this. And so the helper helps me out. Now, when the helper helps me out, my lucidity is still low. But once I'm out of the mess, lucidity will quickly arise, and I will zoom on to the next part of the obstacle course, which I did. And I'm going to skip ahead here to where I run into a friend. I run into my friend Jeannette from England. And I run into Jeannette a lot, even though she's over in England and I'm over here in the United States. And I mean run into each other literally in the physical terrain. I won't go into the details here, but it's just incredible how many times before we actually even formally met, we literally just bumped into each other places at the beach. Her getting off a trolley as I was walking down the street, things like this. And I bump into her in the non-physical. Now, I'm lucid and she's not lucid, and so I think that I've come across her to help bring her lucid and start telling her, we're in a dream, we're in a non-physical environment. And she repeats it back, but she's not fully getting it yet. And I keep trying to tell her. At a certain point, and this is interesting, this is the first time I've ever caught this, and this was part of the obstacle course too, and I did catch it, not immediately, but close enough to immediately. Jeannette brought in a subconscious helper in the form of a person who put themselves between me and Jeannette and was holding me at arm's length apart from her. And I'm just sort of energetically, trying to get back into Jeannette to continue with what I was saying to her, when all of a sudden I got that. And I say to this subconscious aspect, you're a subconscious aspect. And I got that Jeannette had brought this in because she didn't want to come all the way lucid. She wanted to... I was going against her will at that point, so the subconscious aspect came in to help her and to help me not enforce my will on her to come lucid. And so, I just sort of say to Jeannette, okay, you want to go off and have more fun that way. I'm gonna go off and have more fun with this, which I do. Now, this thing with applying my will inappropriately. I just want to talk a little bit more about this because there's actually something else that happened along this line that actually triggered this whole series of projections. And that is essentially when I am applying my will inappropriately, everything's going to stop. Somehow everything's going to stop. And what happened in the beginning was that I had come lucid in a room in a conversation with my brother Roger, and when I was transitioning out of this room, I was experiencing the sensation of falling. Now, I've only ever experienced the falling sensation one other time, and when I did, I was going into the lower realms. And so, remembering this, while I was falling, fear came in, and I started intentionally bringing to mind people that I love to help raise my vibration, I thought, you know. But when I did this, the experience stopped. And so in this case, I was literally applying my will inappropriately. I was supposed to continue going through the fall without fear. And I knew that once the experience stopped, but I did not know that while I was in the experience. But in the middle of all of this happening, something really cool happened. And that was that I reversed my perception of the fall. When it was no longer working, when bringing people to mind that I loved to raise my vibration was not working, I reversed my perception of the fall to the point that the fall felt like I was flying up. And I just think it's interesting that this can be done, even though it wasn't appropriate in this instance. I know that it is something that that I can do to change direction, and somehow me knowing that is just as important as the mistake I made about applying my will inappropriately at the wrong time.